ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Key Time Sports. It's Key Time coming back to talk about Game 2 of the NBA Finals between the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Oklahoma City Thunder had a bounce back win last night after a debacle in Game 1. Pretty much from the start until OKC took this game over, and they were not going to let up at all. And I noticed after the first quarter, OKC they got the lead up to 10, and it seemed like after that, it seems like they just kept it up to double digits throughout the game. There was one time where they got it up to 16, another time where they got it up to 20, and I'm gonna say the the Indiana Pacers deficit, the furthest that they could get it down to, the furthest that they could get it down to was 13. After that, it was just afterwards. OKC would call a timeout when they would start to see the lead dwindle and decrease, and they would call a timeout, and then right after the timeout, either it was SGA making a timely basket, Chet Holmgren making a timely basket, Isaiah Hartenstein, he had a couple blocks last night. Also, also the bench. The bench, they did well last night for the OKC Thunder. The X Factor, Aaron Wiggins. Aaron Wiggins had 5 threes last night. He caught fire. I actually said something on Twitter. I said somebody called the fire department because Aaron Wiggins is on fire right now and nobody can stop him. So outside of that, I'm going to get into these statistics, and then I'm going to get into player matchups, and then after that, I'm going to tell you all what happened and why the momentum was always on the Thunder side in this game. And then before the end of the show, I'm going to tell you my outlook for game 3. So right now, Pacers statistics. Pascal Siakam, 15 points. Another balanced effort from the Pacers starting five. Pascal Siakam, 15 points. Aaron Naismith, 14 points. Miles Turner, 16 points. Andrew Nembhard, 11 points. Tyrese Halliburton, 17 points. Bench production. James Johnson, 2 points. Obi Toppin, 3 points. Johnny Furphy, 0 points. Thomas Bryant, 1 point. TJ McConnell, 11 points. Benedict Mathurin, 14 points. Ben Shepherd, 3 points. And for the OKC Thunder, they pretty much, SGA, he pretty much had his normal game, but he really didn't need much from the last two starters that was playing. Chet Holmgren, 15 points. Jalen Williams, 19 points. Shea Gilders Alexander, 34 points. Luguez Dort, 3 points. Cason Wallace, 4 points. Bench production for the Thunder. The bench had 35 points last night. Well, excuse me. The bench ended up with 40 points last night. Jalen Williams, 33 points. Dylan Jones, Ozami Dean, Kenrich Williams all had 0 points. Isaiah Hartenstein, 3 points. Alex Caruso, 20 points. 20, wow. Alex Caruso had a ball last night. Isaiah Joe, 2 points. Aaron Wiggins, like I said a few minutes ago, Aaron Wiggins had a good night. He had 18 points. A.J. Mitchell had 2 points, and that rounds out everybody that played on the Thunder last night. And everybody did play on the Thunder last night. Everybody did. Now, OKC, they couldn't they could not afford to lose last night's game. They couldn't go down 2-0. They couldn't have, because if they went down 2-0, series more than likely would have been over, because Pacers, they got a tough, and I do mean a tough, home court atmosphere, and throughout the playoffs they've only lost one game at home. So The Thunder in this case, what I noticed was matchups. They set the tone for the matchups last night. They did from the stretch, and Shea Gildress Alexander, he only had one 3-pointer last night, and I noticed this: he didn't settle. He didn't settle because late in the game, where I was expecting him, to shoot a couple threes here and there, he went to the basket. He packed it into the paint, and that's exactly what the Thunder needed last night. They needed a person that was going to pack the paint. They did. They needed that. And as far as team statistics concerned, it was pretty much all in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder. You can see it. They made the same. Both teams made the same amount of 3-pointers, rebounds. Seemed like the Pacers, they didn't hustle to those rebounds like they did in Game One, and then you can see it because total rebounds +8 for the Thunder, 43-35. Offensive rebounds 11-7, OKC Thunder. Defensive rebounds +4 for the OKC Thunder. Assists +2 for the OKC Thunder. Steals +1 for the OKC Thunder. And you see where the momentum came into the Oklahoma City Thunder favor, and it did not let go. Steals +1 for the OKC Thunder. Blocks +2 for the Indiana Pacers. Turnovers, and I do mean turnovers. Thunder had less turnovers than the Pacers. And here is fast break points. Now, there was a lot of fast break opportunities, +8 in the fast break points department. And largest lead of the game was 23 points for the OKC Thunder and only 3 points for the Pacers. But the Pacers, they led this game 5 minutes within the first 5 minutes of the first quarter. So it wasn't much of a lead, and then all of a sudden that's when the Thunder, they started their avalanche. They started their avalanche, and nobody could stop the Thunder. Nobody. So now, one thing I can say about this was the bounce back game that the Thunder needed. They really did, because but now forget all about, these are two young teams in small markets and all that stuff, because before the start of the series, yes, we all were talking about, these two teams are small market. It's not going to be good. The series is going to dip in ratings. But let me tell you, this series hasn't dipped in ratings at all. I seen an article where CBS Sports News is saying that Gen Z is taking over the NBA Finals. And yes, we are. We are taking over the finals. The average age for both of these teams, Pacers is 24, the Thunder is 25, and right now I'm 24. So I could easily go out there for either one of these teams and put up 15 to 20 points. If Coach Mark Danigalt need me, or if Coach Rick Carlisle need me, I will be ready and prepared. So now, let me get into the outlook. Well, excuse me. First off, I need to show y'all what I put on my paper. After last night, what I put on my paper was Thunder have a bounce back game despite game one, late clock management failures. The Thunder, they win game two by a blowout. So that's what I have. That's what I have on my paper. That's what I have on my story right here. Right here. The paper is right here. So now, this is an even playing field. So can the Thunder win game three and keep this momentum going? Maybe, maybe not. But most of the time throughout this playoff cycle, the home team that lose in game one wins game two, and the home team that wins in game two, the home team it wins in game three after the series shift. So I got the Thunder in 6, possibly 7 games now, but I am not wavering in my pick when it comes to the NBA Finals because you saw it. You saw it last night. You saw how the Thunder from their first finals run to this finals run, most of these players are under 27. Chet Holmgren, he's under 27. SGA is under 27. And Jalen Williams, he is under 27. So the Thunder in this case, I got to give credit to Sam Presti for keeping everything together, even though that some years like 2021 and 2022 was hard times. They still kept it together. He still kept it together. So now what I'm going to say is Pacers. What are the Pacers going to do in game three? I know Halliburton, he is gonna have a better game. I know Pascal Siakam is gonna have a better game. I know most of their supporting cast is gonna have a better game. I know the X factors for the Pacers, they are gonna have a better game. And historically, supporting cast, they play better at home. They do. Now the Thunder, what they gonna have to do is they gonna have to weather the storm going into a hostile environment on the road, and I do mean a hostile environment because when the Pacers when they start to go on those runs of 10-2, 12-6, uh, 17-8, when they start to go on those runs like that and they get that crowd behind them, it is almost impossible to keep the crowd silent once the Pacers go on runs like that. So the Thunder going on the road, they are going to have to protect the ball. They are going to have to stay out of foul trouble. They are, because I noticed throughout this playoff cycle. When they went on the road against Denver, most of their players got in foul trouble. Against Minnesota, they got in foul trouble, but they was able to sweep. They was able to sweep the Memphis Grizzlies. Excuse me, not the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota, when they won Game 3, OKC had foul trouble in game three versus Minnesota. So it seems like every time they go on the road for a game three, it always seems like somebody is getting in foul trouble or they are turning the ball over. And now you are in the biggest championship series in the NBA. So the margin for error in this game and in this series is so small for both of these teams. I mean, it at the snap like that, you can either be up by 8 or 9 to down by 15 because we know that the Pacers 3-point shooting can get hot at any minute. We know that the Thunder defense, they can clamp down and play lockdown defense any minute. So both of these teams, they have what you call a luxury of pieces when it comes to offense and defense because the Pacers on offense they can depend on 6 guys to give them at least 15 plus points. The Thunder, same thing. They have at least 6 guys that can give them 15 plus points each. But one thing, the defense, it comes into fold. And also, the Thunder, they've been the best team all season. And plus, also they've had the best defense all season. Plus, they have the MVP. And also, one thing, the Thunder, they are in the driver's seat. And also, can they win a game three in one of their series? Because The only game three that they've won in this playoff cycle is against the Memphis Grizzlies, and we all know that the Memphis Grizzlies, they pretty much were no competition, because even though that they had the lead in games 3 and 4, they still ended up losing, because the most important stat of the game is the final score. So all of these statistics, and we know sometimes we just base the game off statistics. But when I think about people, when they just base the game off statistics, or pretty much just look at the highlights, they are not doing their due diligence of watching the whole game and giving everybody what happened the whole 9 yards of the game, or what happened, what a certain sequence that happened in the game. That's why I do my due diligence in watching every game, and I do mean every second of every game, because there are some people that can come on that can come on here and just give you basic facts, and everything, and I do mean everything, just sounds so bland. But me, I give you I give you the whole nine. Now, both of these teams didn't have. Now, both of these teams, they did turn the ball over, but it wasn't to the point where it was a turnover lightest game like the Pacers had in game one. Now, the Pacers, they was lucky to win game one, but the Thunder, they brought the Pacers back down to earth. Now, the Pacers, they are going home to good old Indiana, the Hoosier State, where they pretty much shuffle corn, they chuck corn, they anything, chickens, all that. That's countrified up there in Indiana. It is countrified up there. So the Thunder, they gonna have to get on a plane. They gonna have to leave that good old home cooking in OKC. They gonna have to leave that good old home cooking and go up to good old Indiana and try and get them a game or two up there. And then game five, they'll come back to OKC. So outside of that, well, it was a good game last night. Everybody from for the Thunder showed up and showed out. X Factors showed up and showed out for the Thunder. Pacers. I knew that this was going to happen, that they were going to have a down game, because in every series they tend to have a down game in the second game. When they played the Bucks, when they played the Cavaliers, when they played when they played the New York Knicks, they had a down game. So this is just all according to what the NBA wants. That's what I'm gonna say. What the NBA wants and what us fans want. We want a 7 game series. We want this series to go to the limit. And now, since both teams have split the first 2 games, it has a greater chance of happening. Now, with that, those are my reactions to game 2 of the 2025 NBA Finals. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos and show, reaction video shows and other content. We are also doing an expansion right here on YouTube. We want to get we are at 200. We are at 230 subscribers right now. Before the end of this year, we want to get to 20,000, and I know that we can do that. I know that we can do that because I'm a reliable source, and I come in and do this show every day, not just for y'all, but for me too, because I know that some of y'all be looking forward to what I have to say every day, whether it's a headline or a show like this one for the NBA Finals. So, one last thing I want to tell everybody: please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the follow button, hit the like button. We'll tell everybody, tell your friends, your family, your cousins, aunties, uncles, everybody. Remember, everybody, one last thing. Remember, the key is always on time.